Hello and welcome. This is Cherie with Rehashfiber, and today we're going to talk about patterns and copyright. I had some curiosity about things, and so I wanted to look into it a little bit further. In general, I am always very respectful of copyright laws because as a photographer, I know what it's like. I had some of my work stolen and used for profit somewhere else. And so I wanted to make sure that I was never a part of that. So because of that, I'm very cognizant I buy my own patterns. I want to make sure the designer is paid for what I'm working on. I use Ravelry most of the time. It's wonderful and it's very easy to find and get your patterns there. And then I know the designers are taken care of. So before I get into some of the new and interesting things that I learned, I just wanted to share how I feel about the value of patterns. I look at the fiber art project as the pattern, the needles, the yarn, our brain power, and our hands. So if you think of the pattern as 1/5 of what it takes to get our pattern done, that is a heavy weight on that item. That is our guide all the way through. So to pay that person is very much worth it. And on Ravelry, I've never paid more than $10 for a pattern. They're usually between $4 and $8. That is a great price for getting the pattern so I can do the project. And we all know how much time and talent it takes to make patterns. So I've got a lot of gratitude for that too. The cool thing that I learned is in the United States, just by writing the pattern down or videotaping it, it is copyrighted. As soon as that's done, done deal. Once it's copyrighted, it cannot be copied, shared, or downloaded without permission. Something else I learned is stitches themselves are not copyrighted. They are considered building blocks for the pattern. Here's one that was a huge eye-opener for me. At the end of some of my patterns, it says you cannot sell the made item from the pattern. However, I learned in my research there is no law on that, and there have been no lawsuits on that. You have done your due diligence by purchasing the pattern. Done. You've used your yarn, your time and talent to make it. You are free to sell it wherever you want. At fairs, on Etsy. Now this is what I learned. If you have any questions or any doubts on this for yourself, I would suggest that you research it further and know for yourself that that is the legal way. That's what I learned. And that's interesting because I have crocheted my yoga mat bag and a few people have asked me to make it and then they would purchase it from me. And I said no, because it said that on the pattern, but now I could. So we'll see. Another aspect is if you're teaching a class, it is a courtesy, but you don't have to, but it's a courtesy to contact the designer and ask permission. And then do make sure that each student has paid for their own pattern for that. The other question is, well, can I borrow my friends' knitting books or magazines? Yes, you can. As long as you're doing it for your own personal use and you're not mass making something to sell, you just want to borrow their book, make up a pattern, you can do it. The other thing is, how about a pattern book from the library? Well, I learned that libraries pay into a copyright collective. They know that some of their property will be copied, so some of the money from that trickles back to the designer. So the big thing I want to push home is that we honor our artists. We pay for the patterns, they make their income. When someone asks you, hey, can I have a copy of that? You could say, hey, I will give you the link so you can purchase it. Also, here's something to think about when you're at a yarn store. I learned recently that there was a yarn store I had not been to, but they were purchasing the pattern once and then just selling it over and over again, and they were making profits from it. And so it is up to you how you handle this and how you think about it. But if you're curious, that is always something to think about when you're purchasing a pattern from another person, to just make sure the designer is getting paid. All right, I want to show you something great. I want you to know that I don't get paid by anybody on this show. When I show you things, it's truly because I love them. These shoes are great. And you might say, what do they have to do with fiber art? Well, they're easy on and off for when you're using the spinning wheel. In fact, I wore these to Distaff Day weekend, and I was spinning on and off the whole time, so that was easy. In and out, in and out. They're great. But I love them so much that I just wanted to share them with you. I got them for Christmas, and I wore them for like 2 months straight. It's cool enough in Florida to do that. They are as soft as a slipper, yet they have the support of a shoe. There's rubber on the bottom, suede on the top, wool on the inside. I use them as slippers. I use them to walk the dog. I use them for everything. They're from Merrell Shoes, and they're the Women's Encore Ice 4. They come in 11 colors. They're on sale right now for $89. They were $125. The colors and the sizes are going, but it's worth checking out. If you want a super cozy, happy, comfy shoe, go for it. I just want to share it with you because every time I put them on, I'm happy. So I want to talk about Patreon. If you don't know about Patreon, it's how creators get paid for doing the job that they do. So you can get there through my website, rehashfiber.com, supporting members, and for $3, $5 a month, a small amount for you is huge for me because it all adds up and I get paid to keep the show going. Everything costs money to do this. I love doing it. I research constantly to bring you new fiber art information, and I love it, and your support helps me keep doing it. So thanks in advance if you help me out. All right, everybody, now that you know more about patterns, have fun with those thoughts. Happy fiber art, and thanks for watching.